So when you're first learning a new worship song on the guitar, do you just look at the chord sheet and play those chords that are there? Or do you go to somewhere like YouTube and look up the song and just copy the parts that you see being played there? While those are both great places to start when you're trying to learn a song, today I want to share with you some building blocks that you can use as a starting point to learn pretty much any modern worship song. So the building blocks that I want to share with you today are 3 different just simple chord shapes that you can use around the neck. And you'll find these chord shapes in pretty much every modern worship song. And you can kind of use those as a starting place to pick out different melodies and lead lines. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you another concept that will help you to kind of link these chord shapes together and use them up and down the neck. But let's get into it. What's up everyone? Welcome back to Sunday Tone. I'm Brendan and I want to quickly invite you to subscribe to this channel so that you can see more videos just like this one. I do a ton of tips and tricks videos, I do song tutorials, and I also do a bunch of gear related videos, reviews and demos of things that are going to help you with your ministry. So make sure you subscribe to see more videos like that. So before I jump into the different chord shapes that I want to share with you, I want to give a quick disclaimer that I'm not going to get super in depth with the theory behind all of this, but if that's something that you're interested in and that you all would want to see, I'd love to do that. So leave a comment below and let me know. So the first chord shape that I want to share with you today that I think is essential for playing worship guitar is the A shape. And what I mean by that is you take a normal A chord just down here, just like that. And what you do is you bar using one of your fingers to play that chord anywhere on the neck, and you're just focused on those 3 notes in the middle there. And so what that allows you to do is take that chord and play it up higher on the neck, and this is a triad that you're using, and you can use it kind of like a driving chord, and you can throw in a couple of other things along with it, and I'll show you how to use it as kind of like an anchor to then switch into other variations and add some melody to what you're playing. So what that looks like is, say you're playing in the key of B, you're going to want to know where that A shape can be all over the neck, and a good way to memorize that is if you have your just normal power chord, so like this. So if you take that power chord and you just take the side that your ring finger would be on and you just bar there, that helps you to remember, okay, this is my D chord, that D shape. Using that shape, a D chord would be right here. Same thing here, if you're playing a C power chord, the C triad is right there. So the reason I show you this is you can use this all over the neck as a starting place depending on the key you're in. So maybe you're in the key of G and you come up here and you have this A shape here and you can play G. So that gives you a place to kind of play chords that you might normally play in like first position down here on the neck that you can use to play up higher, and there's a lot of lead guitar parts that are kind of built off of this. So just as an example, if you think of the song like Bless God by Cody Carnes, there is a part in the chorus that uses this A shape that I'm talking about. So in this case, in the key of B, we're playing right here. And there's this part that you hear throughout the song going into the chorus that's kind of like this. So you see that part, and there's a lot of other notes I'm adding in there, but it's all kind of anchored on this A chord, this A shape moved up into the key of B. So what you have there is this. And there's a couple little riffs there, but it's using that as the anchor position. So you're going, and then you're using these notes on the top of that. So if you're trying to learn a song and figure out a part like that, you can use this A chord shape, figure out what key the song is in. So if it's in the key of G, I'll come up here. So you can take that shape, move it anywhere on the neck, and memorize where all your chords are using that shape. And this gives you a great place to kind of start with for different songs. And I'll show you using some of the other shapes, you can kind of link them together to play some of the different parts that you know really well. The next chord shape I want to share with you is the D shape. And again, this is a shape that everyone knows. You can play your D chord down here. And again, we just focus on those three notes that make up a triad. So here you have. And again, we're taking that shape and applying it in different places on the neck. And it's helpful to memorize up and down the neck using that shape where different chords are. So that if you're looking for your G chord, you can go here. Or like we used in the previous example, if you're using the A shape, you can go here and get that same chord. But what's helpful is to take this D shape, using it up and down the neck, and depending on the song and the key that you need to play in, you can use those two shapes interchangeably almost to find the right place to fit in the mix. Whether you're trying to play lower on the neck and you don't want to poke out as much, you can use the A shape that I showed you earlier to play lower and kind of a lower octave. And like that song that we were playing in the last example, Bless God, we could take that and apply it to the D shape and raise it up higher on the neck. So maybe earlier in the song you're using the A shape that I showed you there, and then later in the song we switched to this D shape, this D triad. And so what that would be like is up here. So you can see that you can use different variations of those triads to piece together a lead part or add melody to some chords that you're playing up high like that. And the D shape is just the building block of that. So I would experiment with these different shapes and see how you can play a melody by using that as the anchor position and learning what it sounds like to play melodies. So kind of adding your ring finger and your pinky in there in different positions will allow you to play a melody and follow the chord progression. So there are a ton of different songs that use this shape, and one that just immediately comes to mind always when I think about it is the song The Stand by Hillsong. And you'll probably recognize this part, but it uses this shape and it has a little melody line playing through this like this. So you'll hear this a lot in different songs and these different melodies using this shape playing over top of chord progressions. So use your ear to kind of listen for those and figure out where you can throw those in. So the third chord shape that I want to show you that you can use to kind of play different worship songs like this and that you'll see a lot in different songs is what I call the F shape. And what it's doing is using kind of the top or the higher end of an F chord. So if you see here, this is kind of what it would sound like in your first position. And so again, you are taking that concept, those 3 notes or those 4 notes, depending on how you're using it, and you are moving it up and down the neck in the same way that we used the A shape and the D shape. And you'll see this a lot in songs, and it kind of has that U2 vibe to it. So maybe if you're playing a C chord up here, it would be something like this. And where you get that U2 kind of sound is like when you're kind of use the very top notes of it, and it's like. So you'll start to notice, again, different songs that use this shape and are just picking through it in different ways to get different melodies and lead lines from it. So one that comes to mind for me is a song called Every Good Thing that my church plays, and it uses this shape up here. So we're kind of in a D position here, and it picks through it like this. So another song that I really like that uses this F shape is the song You've Already Won. And we're in the key of C, and it uses this in the chorus. And you'll see that I'm taking that shape and then transitioning to the D shape that we talked about earlier. So it kind of sounds a little bit like this. So you'll see there, I'm adding some other notes and things in there, but it all starts with the F shape here in this C position, and I'm picking through it. And then I'm switching to the D shape that we talked to earlier. And then I'm coming actually down here to the A shape that we talked about. So it's combining these different parts and adding some little leads and melodies in between to get something like this. So those are just 3 different chord shapes that I think are essential to playing worship guitar, and you'll see them used throughout a ton of different songs. But another chord I want to kind of share with you, kind of like a bonus chord, is what I call the worship power chord. And what that looks like is taking something like this D power chord here and just moving it up a string and moving it up to the higher strings. And what that kind of looks like is you're taking that same shape, moving it up 1 string, and you move your pinky up 1. So it kind of looks like this. And so again, you're gonna wanna learn all over the neck, where are different chords, whether it's a B, whether it's a G, and like you can switch back and forth between the different shapes that we talked about, and knowing, where is a G on the neck, where is a on the neck, using these different shapes. That's stuff you'll want to learn, so that say you're playing a progression and you're using the A shape as your anchor, you can quickly do things like this. So using the A shape that I showed you earlier and using this worship power chord that I call it here, you can quickly go from the 1 to the 4 to the 5 in kind of this anchor position here. And you can also get to your minor 6 by going like this. So here we have the C. And then you're just taking your ring finger and putting it here on the 7th fret of the D. So again, you have a bunch of different variations of chords you can get there, and then you can always jump up to something like the C all the way up here using the D shape. So you have a ton of different options just jumping between these different shapes that I'm showing you. But for this one, the worship power chord that I was talking about, it's just like this. And you can just take your ring finger off, and if you're barring here on the 5th fret, to quickly switch between these two chords. So that's just another thing that you'll find in a bunch of different songs. So it's good to kind of learn that, internalize it, and kind of realize when you're hearing that in a song and being able to add it in. And I think that is super helpful to be able to apply around the neck. So those are just 3 simple chord shapes that you can apply to your playing when you're trying to learn a song. And I guarantee you that these are used throughout a ton of different songs that you're going to be trying to learn. And it's a good idea to, like I said, learn up and down the neck where different chords are using those shapes so that you can quickly pick up the key and the chords that you're trying to play. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos that go more in depth behind the theory with some of this stuff, let me know, because I'd love to do that. And I will see you all in the next one.